a couple months ago, we released a poll on our website asking our fans to vote on which debate we should do in April. However, since the debate in question happened to be performed today on April Fool's Day, we decided to choose the least voted on debate. Because sometimes we're just trolls like that. Now that debate turned out to be Aquaman versus John Carter. And how perfect was it that the title they're fighting for is Who is the Most Underrated? Because it's so true, these characters both get no love. So tonight, we're gonna give these oft-overlooked heroes some time to shine. Let's start with the King of the Seven Seas, a hero who needs to soak up all this attention because his reputation is all washed up. A character that shows us that any fin is possible. He officially has a license to krill. Whale, obviously. I'm talking about John Carter. Just kidding, this is actually Aquaman's intro. And I'm very sorry about all the fish-related puns. Don't worry, guys, I'll dolphinately try to cut them back. Aquaman is the ruler of a fantastic kingdom that no one on Earth knows and or cares about. But he did marry a smoking hot wife there, so fuck going back on land, am I right? Aquaman made his debut in 1941 in More Fun Comics number 73, because kids love those fun comics, but they want more. Aquaman was born Arthur Curry, the half-human, half-Atlantean son of a lighthouse keeper named Tom Curry, and the Atlantean queen creatively named Atlanta. Aquaman's royal Atlantean side gave him the special abilities such as Michael Phelps-like swimming ability and the power to communicate with all sea life, which I believe is also the same superpower as Dory from Finding Nemo.
Dory? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you sure you speak whale?
King of the lost sunken city of Atlantis and protector of all the oceans of Earth, Aquaman has faced many villains such as Black Manta, his twisted half-brother Ocean Master, and of course, the BP Oil Company. But being a DC character, Aquaman has no greater villain than the confusing continuity that is DC Comics. Seriously, his origin story has been retold like 7 different times. And the character has gone through so many different kinds of stories. Personally, I like the approach that's something like Conan the Barbarian, but underwater. Aquaman, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the mermaids. Aquaman is one of the founding members of the Justice League, but never featured near the front of the dynamic group shots because they need to make room for Superman's sense of self-worth. And also speeches about hope. But does that make Aquaman the most underrated hero? John Carter, on the other hand, is a whole different story. You see, John Carter is the ruler of a fantastic kingdom that no one on Earth seems to know and or care about, but he did marry a smoking hot wife there, so fuck going back to Earth, am I right? The character first appeared over 100 years ago, he was written in serials by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Now, you might also remember Burroughs as the guy who wrote the Tarzan series. And for the younger members in the audience, Tarzan was that Disney musical where Phil Collins wouldn't shut the fuck up. Okay, let's get the obvious stuff out of the way. Nobody saw the John Carter movie, except for geeks and nerds. Disney's next big sci-fi action-adventure epic, because we all know Tron did so well. John Carter did not nearly perform as well as I'm sure Disney wanted, but after I saw the trailer, I knew I had to see this movie. Why? Because the guy playing Edgar Rice Burroughs kinda sorta looks like me. He's a spy kid too. I'm a spy kid, you guys. I will gladly pay the admission price to see a Moo Man doppelganger. When you get a bunch of us together, we form something called a Moo Man group. To be fair, the movie's not that bad. Nothing to write home about, but yeah, I would have wanted a sequel. Frankly, I think they messed up the branding of this movie. Why would you take out the of Mars part? That's the interesting part of the title. Test it out. Go to somebody who's never heard of this franchise and say, hey man, do you want to watch John Carter? And they'll say, nah. But then you'll add of Mars, and they'll be like, yeah. In case you haven't guessed by now, John Carter takes place on Mars, or as the Martian hipsters call it, Barsoom. Dude, you don't call it Barsoom? Gee, typical Earthling. Or should I say, typical Jawsoom. Fucking Martian hipsters. As the story goes, John Carter was an ex-Confederate soldier in the American Civil War. After the war, Carter went looking for gold in the Arizona desert and stumbled across a cave which mysteriously astrally projects him to Mars. This is where, thanks to the power of Americans' understanding of Mars in 1912, he's gained superpowers. This includes super strength and the ridiculous notion that white men can jump. Having many adventures, including adapting to the ways of Mars and interacting with many of its Martian inhabitants, John Carter eventually rose to become the rank of Jedak, a warlord of Mars, which is a shit ton better than whatever the hell he was doing on Earth. John Carter pioneered the term, men are from Mars, scantily clad women are also from Mars. So I'm keeping my ass on Mars. But does that make John Carter the most underrated hero? That's what we're here to find out. Let's meet the geeks and nerds.